here's what you got to know. Raw vegetables show the best association with protection against cancer. The more raw vegetables, in other words, we're talking here about raw greens, raw, onions, tomatoes, all these things, celery, cucumber, all the things you put on a salad. And I tell people, my mantra is, you have to have a big salad at least once a day. That's it. You got to eat a big salad at least once a day. Raise your hand if you eat a big salad at least once a day. Oh, great. And what do you have to put on the salad? You have to put on the salad, somebody said nothing. Wrong. Because if you put nothing on the salad, you absorb 1/10 the amount of anti-cancer phytochemicals. 1/10. You have to put a healthy fat source on the to absorb the phytochemicals. No, nuts and seeds. Let me explain. Number one, you're supposed to put some raw cruciferous vegetable on the salad, like some watercress or arugula or shredded cabbage or shredded kale. That's number one. Not nothing. On top of that, lettuce and tomatoes is some raw cruciferous stuff shredded there too, because that gives you those ITCs to prevent cancer. Number two, you want to put some raw allium family on there. The allium, like raw scallion or raw red onion on the salad too. That's a very powerful anti-cancer substance. You want to put that on there too. Number three, you want to eat at that meal some fat source, at least a half an ounce to an ounce of a fat source, at least half an ounce of nuts or seeds, because these are fat-soluble compounds. And you make your salad dressing not with oil, but maybe it's tomato paste or tomato sauce with almonds and sunflower seeds and some black fig vinegar, and a splash of, maybe it's some delicious, so you're getting your nuts and seeds to facilitate the absorption of the phytochemicals. Maybe it's the orange cashew lemon dressing with like a little toasted sesame seeds and cashew nuts mixed with a peeled orange and a squeeze of lemon and some blood orange vinegar. Maybe it's all these delicious dressings. I'm a master at making these things taste incredible. 30 years of making great recipes. But the key is you want to take in some nuts and seeds with your meal, and you want to eat the nuts and seeds with the meal that has the most anti-cancer phytochemicals, because the nuts and seeds facilitate the absorption of those anti-cancer chemicals by tenfold. Did you follow that? So raw vegetables protect. The WHEAL study, the Women's Healthy Eating and Living study, showed that women who already had breast cancer, the more green vegetables they ate, the lower their risk of breast cancer recurrence was, the longer they lived, right? More than any other parameter, it was the vegetable consumption that determined how long they lived. It's how much vegetables you eat, right? The vegetables protect the DNA. The methylation defects accumulate when you smoke cigarettes. But in the Fiji Islands, where they smoke like fiends, they don't get much lung cancer because their diet is so high in green vegetables. I'm not encouraging the smoking of cigarettes, but I'm just demonstrating how protective green vegetable consumption is. And look at Korea, where they had 1/8 the amount of breast cancer that we did in America back in 1988. And then, 20 years later, the rate of breast cancer in Korea went up by 500%. What happened to the Korean diet that made the breast cancer rate spike by 500% in 20 years? Well, they adopted a more American diet. So, in 1978, 10 years before we started to spike, and it takes like 30 years to really see the effects, but they were eating very low levels of animal products. They were only eating 6.5% of calories from animal products in 1978, but they went up to 16%. That's about half of what we're eating. It still increased that from when they went from about 6% to 16%, the rate of breast cancer went up by 500%. Their oil consumption went up from 1.5% to 12%, and they were already eating a lot of white rice already, but when they started to put the sugar on top of the white rice and the oil on top of the white rice, and they ate more sugar, then you had the cumulative effect of all the extra damage. It pushed them over the tipping point, right? And cancers exploded there. The major cause of breast cancers, we're talking about this, is insulin, with a high sugar diet, an IGF-1 from a high protein diet. If you really want to give somebody cancer, here's how you do it. You give them foods that hormonally raise insulin and IGF-1 simultaneously. So you give them a burger that has the white bread and the meat at the same meal. You give them macaroni and cheese, pizza, You know, we give them the hero, the meatball and spaghetti. We give them American-style food, which is maximally designed to promote cancer. What is it? Anything surprising?